We're going to take a first look at the man who's provoked an extraordinary crisis this morning. We've all seen hostage negotiations in the movies, but this one is stranger and more disturbing than fiction, involving a 5-year-old boy, an armed survivalist in an underground bunker, and really no end in sight. ABC's Gio Benitez, who's been on this story from the jump, is in Midland City, Alabama, once again this morning. Gio.
Dan, good morning. This is now day 5 of this hostage standoff. It's happening just behind that white building that you see there. Now today, for the first time, we're getting new details about how the standoff started from the children who were there and saw it all happen. This morning, a photo of the man police say launched a dramatic and tense hostage standoff. 65-year-old Jimmy Lee Dykes has been holding a 5-year-old named Ethan against his will in an underground bunker since Tuesday, communicating with negotiators through a pipe.
I look up and he's talking about threatening to kill us all or something.
It all started when Dykes stormed onto this school bus, killed driver Charles Poland, and kidnapped the child.
And then he's like, I'll kill all y'all. I'll kill y'all. I just want 2 kids.
14-year-old Terica Singletary and her 12-year-old brother Tristan were on that bus. They say Dykes got on and gave the driver what appeared to be a gift of broccoli and a note, then demanded 2 children.
The bus driver kept saying, just please get off the bus. He said, no, I ain't get off the bus. So he just tried to back up, and he pulled out the gun and he just shot him, and then he just took Ethan.
When all of this started, what were you thinking?
I was shocked. Like, I never thought that I would have to go through a shootout.
Terica, Tristan, and their peers were able to escape while Dykes ran off carrying little Ethan. That's when their mom, Lachey, got the frantic call about the shooting and went to find Terica, Tristan, and their older brother.
Like, I grabbed all 3 of them at once, and I just started crying, and I was thankful that they were safe.
The children had seen Dykes before, constantly working on his fence. Neighbors say he was a survivalist and had been violent toward local animals in the past.
He was very protective about his stuff. Whenever he stared at you, he'd be like, he looked kind of crazy.
As for little Ethan, we've learned he likes to sit in the same front row seat on the bus because he loved the view. It is believed he's a child with autism, and Dykes has allowed negotiators to send down Ethan's medicine into the bunker, along with coloring books. To everybody watching who's nervous about Ethan, what do you say?
Ethan would make it out of there. Ethan would make it out of there.
And the children really believe that that bus driver is a hero because he pushed an emergency button in the bus and then tried calling 911 from his phone. That's when we're told that he was shot dead. By the way, police do tell us they believe that little Ethan is unharmed, at least physically unharmed. Dan?
Very good news. Gio Benitez, who, as we said, has been on this story from the jump. Thank you, Gio. Let's go now to Brad Garrett. He's a former FBI agent and an ABC News consultant. He joins us from Washington this morning. Brad, take us inside these hostage negotiations. How do you negotiate with a survivalist who has plenty of food and everything else he needs to stay in there and doesn't have to leave anytime soon? How do you negotiate?
Because it's all about doing certain things in an order. In other words, what do you want, Mr. Dykes? And he, early on in this negotiation, he would have told them, I want A, B, and C. The negotiators may know they are not realistic, but what they're going to do is negotiate pieces of that. For example, it appears that they've been able to get food and perhaps medicine into the bunker. Now, that's important because it's Mr. Dykes sort of humanizing his captor, and as long as you can keep that dynamic going, that's where you want to be. Dan, this case creates some unique challenges for tactical teams, because how do you get into this bunker if they have to go in and safely get this 5-year-old out? One entrance, I suspect that there is no way to do a dynamic entry where you get in, throw a flash grenade, and grab him. It's a very confined space. So it's going to be, I think they're going to try to wait him out. The problem is you got a guy that's anti-government, and it is bent on doing one particular thing. And my guess is he's not going to get what he wants.
And Brad, it's clear that he spent a lot of time preparing for this. Do you think this can end peacefully as more and more days go on?
You know, it's very difficult to really figure that out, only because at some point I think they're going to probably have to go in there, because he's just not going to let this child go. Now, hopefully that won't be the case, because I'm not convinced that will be the best. Ideally, can they talk this child out? I'm not completely optimistic they'll be able to do that.
Such a young child. Our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. Brad Garrett, we appreciate your time this morning.